Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. I wanted to do a update on the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. We continue to receive updates on a very fluid battle that is taking place within the vicinity of Dessie and Kombolcha. So again, yesterday we received information that the Tigrayan Defense Forces had breached and or penetrated the defenses north of Dessie and had actually entered the town of Dessie. You can see that on my map here, and we continue to see reports of fairly heavy fighting going on north of Dessie. The town is not completely controlled by the Tigrayan Defense Forces as of yet, as the same with Kombolcha. Both of these towns appear to be military objectives at this point by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. The failed offensive by the Abiy loyalists, the Ethiopian Federal Forces, the Amhara militias, resulted in a fairly tenacious counterattack by the Tigrayan Defense Forces, and the TDF has actually probably gained more ground as a result of the Abiy loyalist offensive that started roughly 8 days ago. But right now, the situation on the ground would appear that the federal forces suffered a serious setback in terms of loss of personnel and equipment, especially just north of Dessie, Kombolcha, and then obviously towards the northeast near Shifra as well. Now, the breakthrough in terms of the actual capture and seizure of Dessie, Kombolcha, was prevented only by the compulsory introduction of massive amounts of Amhara militia reservists. Many of these individuals could be seen heading north in convoys to fight, and unfortunately, from some of the video evidence that has been provided, would indicate that many of these individuals are not even armed with firearms. They are utilizing machetes and axes and other types of weapons in some cases. So again, a fairly significant mobilization of all able-bodied fighting personnel are being pressed into service by the Amhara Regional Command and supporting the Abiy loyalists, the federal forces. But again, this is going to come at a devastating cost, both in mainly in lives, and then the question is will they be able to sustain a defensive perimeter north of Dessie, northeast of Kombolcha, in light of the continued press by the Tigrayan Defense Forces? And that's a very difficult question to answer at this point. But again, the federal forces, the Abiy loyalists, the actual Ethiopian army per se, suffered horrendous losses in the last 8 days, and this has resulted in seeing more and more irregular militia type formations of nationalist groups within the Amhara region being pressed into service, being pressed north, and again, many of them frankly, are not even armed properly with weapons in terms of basic firearms, Kalashnikovs, AK-47 variant rifles. We're not seeing that. We obviously we do see the Tigray Defense Forces are very well armed. All their personnel have firearms from video evidence, but again, the fighting continues. I've said it before that this is a pivotal battle, more so for the federal forces. Again, if the federal forces lose Dessie and possibly Kombolcha or both, either or, if they lose Dessie, it is a massive setback. It's going to be much more of a loss and have strategic implications for the Ethiopian federal government than if the Tigrayan Defense Forces are not able to actually capture Dessie and Kombolcha. It does tell us that the offensive, this great massive offensive that was planned, has not gone at all according to plan in terms of the Ethiopian forces, which has allowed this counterattack to take place. So even if the final result is the TDF is unable to capture Dessie Kombolcha, that is going to be really irrelevant in terms of if in fact it is captured. So if it is captured, just unprecedented defeat for the federal forces, and they're probably not going to be able to recover. If the federal forces are able to defend Dessie Kombolcha, this simply pauses the situation for now. But again, we could see continuing operations again. And either way, if Dessie and Kombolcha is defended by these federal forces successfully, it really, the long-term prognosis is a loss right now because of the defeat of the offensive that took place for the federal forces. It was just a complete and utter failure. And if Dessie and Kombolcha are in fact seized, it's just more icing on the cake, so to speak, for the Tigrayan Defense Forces, and it's going to probably lead to a quicker end of the conflict if they're able to actually seize control of one or both of these towns. Again, very tough nut to crack. It is going to be an immense challenge for the TDF to proceed south and seize control of both of these or one of these towns. Not to say that can't happen. It looked like it was very close as of yesterday. But we'll continue to monitor the situation and report. But again, the desperation on the part of the Abiy loyalists, the Amhara regional paramilitary forces, is very apparent, especially when they're pressing basically unarmed civilians into combat at this point, from which they appear to be doing so. But again, we will continue to keep our eyes on the situation and report as events warrant. Have a great day, everybody.